Let's bring in our guest for this hour. Standing by, National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar is with us now. Michael, we've got this case where there is a bullet found in the victim's ribs. I think there's a possibility that she could have an interesting defense if she just said that he fell in, and maybe the prosecution says she pushed him. That might be something where there's a lot of reasonable doubt. But how is she going to explain away a bullet?
It's going to be very fascinating. This is going to be the kind of case that a defense team needs about at minimum 6 months to prepare even their arguments. Now, so for example, a defense team is not necessarily required to, for example, bring up an alternate theory for who might have murdered him, right? But something in that arena is needed in this case, because we know that, I mean, what are they going to say? That the adult child that was living on another level of the barn killed him? I mean, this is a 10-acre barn, right? There's nobody who broke in and murdered this man, right? And we know that the bullet being lodged in his ribs is something that the defense team are going to have to contend with. How do they contend with it? And that's your question. It's going to be very interesting. The opening statements in this case are going to be everything. I always say opening statements are the beginning and middle of a movie. People tell me, well, how is that the middle of the movie? The evidence is the middle of the movie. No, the opening statements are the beginning of the movie, because the prosecution, they give you their promises and what they want to prove in the case, and then the defense gives you their alternative theory. Some defense will say in their opening statements, you never thought about it that way, and when you heard the prosecutor give his statement, you didn't think about what I just said. So it's the middle of the movie, and then they have to fulfill the promises and lead up to the crescendo, which is the closing arguments. So how do they do it? It's going to be tough. We know that droplets of blood were found in the house, right? This is a 58-year-old man, prominent attorney. He didn't throw himself in a burn pile. So their theory might be, well, he had a medical issue. How are you going to prove that he had a medical issue if he had a bullet lodged in his rib and there was droplets of blood strewn about the house? And then she had that phone call where she said he was in the burn pile. This is the prosecution are going to be able to paint this woman as a villain. The defense's job is going to paint her not as a villain, but as some sort of I don't know, abused wife. I don't know what theory they're going to use, but it's going to be very interesting. And they're going to have to stick with it, and they're going to have to basically live with whatever they come up with, because we know that there's evidence to show that she had motive, and he was preventing her, he was precluding her from family money, giving it to his kids. He clearly hated this woman. They clearly hated one another. They lived with one another on different floors in their own barn. This has everything. This has the entire looming specter of two people married for convenience. They hate one another. And did she kill him because of how much she hated him and she wanted money? We don't. I mean, it has everything. She had an affair. I mean, this has everything in terms of motive to kill your husband. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's get a break in here. Judge, finish up those opening or those initial instructions, and then it will be time to